Hi everybody, and welcome to this video all about the Course Induction Booklet, which is part of Induction Week, and how to fill in that booklet. So before you look at the rest of this video, make sure you have got at hand the Course Induction Booklet itself and a pen and some scrap paper as well. If you haven't got those things, then go off and get those now and come back to the video. Okay, so hopefully you've got your Course Induction Booklet and other things that you need, and let's make a start on it. Now, the topics that are covered by the Course Induction Booklet are the following. They are getting to know your course, the assessment calendar, your timetable, what does the college expect of you, what about the future, and identifying some strengths and weaknesses, and setting some targets. That's what we're going to do. So without further ado, let's get started with that. You can complete this booklet in English or Welsh. There is English on one side and Welsh on the other. That's entirely up to you. So go ahead now and fill in the information on the front cover and then come back to the video. So I've got my Course Induction Booklet handy here, and I've put my name on the front, and I've opened it up at page 1. I noticed that it's a section called Get to Know Your Course. And it says, read through the course booklet carefully to ensure you know the following. You need to know the title of your course. And that is Level 2 IT and Business. Quite simple that. It's a little bit of an abbreviated version of the full course title. But it'll allow you to differentiate it from any other courses in the college. The names of the qualifications you'll get, though, which is the next box down on page 1, are a little bit more complicated, mostly because, of course, the Level 2 IT and Business is equally one half IT, one half business, so you are getting 2 qualifications through as you work through this year. And the name of the IT qualification is that there, the OCR Level 2 Cambridge Technical Extended Certificate in IT. So you need to write quite small in that box, especially because you're also going to have to get the full name of the business qualification in there, which is very similar to the IT qualification, but with in business at the end, because for the first time this year we're actually doing the same qualification on the IT side, on the business side, the same exam board and the same extended certificate. So go ahead and write those in. I'm not going to be leaving any pauses during this video. If you need to, you can pause the video yourself. So we'll go straight on now with the length of my course is, it's equivalent to 4 GCSEs, by the way. That's not actually part of the booklet, but it's very important for you to know that. The length of the course is 1 year, which is, in terms of college weeks, it's 34 college weeks, meaning that we finish in late May, early June-ish next year. The next box down is the main units you'll be studying, and they are as follows. On the IT side, so go down the first column there with these units. Again, I'm not going to leave any gaps in the video here. You can pause yourself there if you need to. And here are the business units. 5 of them in full. Here are the essential and key skills you'll be studying. Just the 2 of them there. And there's only one real additional qualification, and that's the Post-16 National Welsh Baccalaureate. So that's page 1 done. I'm turning over in my booklet now, and I notice that the box at the top of page 2 is list here any additional qualifications you will be doing. We've already done that one with the Welsh Baccalaureate, of course, haven't we? Yes, we have. So carrying on with page 2 there, we've got a box. How will your work be assessed? And there are really only 2 ways, and they are portfolio and witness statements. Because it's entirely coursework. There aren't any examinations in the main qualifications, which we've just gone through there on page 1. But in your essential skills, there are some tasks, some assessments. They're not really called exams, but they are really exams in all but name. So I've kind of put a tick in brackets there, because there are types of qualifications, but they're not in the main part of the qualification. The tutors on your course are those 4 people that, depending on when you're watching this video, you may already have met them. You may already, if you've started late on the course, then you will have met them perhaps before you're filling in this booklet. you may already be familiar with these people. It's your course tutor speaking here. It's Andy Copeland there, so you can fill that in. Extra support that is available in the college. The Learning Centre on the first floor there, that is a drop-in facility that you can get help with all your basic skills. Literacy, numeracy, organisation, digital literacy and so on. The Welsh Language Advisor, college mentors, counsellor, careers advisor. And moving on down the page there, it does say, do you carry out a work placement as part of the course? There is no work placement, so you'll tick no there. And in the box, how long will this placement be for? You can put N/A, as in not applicable. Or you do need to put something in every box, so you could put no work placement, something in there, but do put something in the box. Moving on to page 3, which is about my learning and assessment calendar for this year. I will give you a copy of this to put into the booklet at some point in the first half term. So for the time being, you can leave page 3 blank. Eventually that will be a summary of all the units you're doing, all the assignments you're doing, and the deadlines for each one. But I will give that to you as the weeks go by. Similarly with the next page, page 4, which is called Preparing My Personal Timetable. You should have been given a copy of a timetable by this point. So you should, I'm not going to ask you to copy it all into there, but you should put a copy of it into the induction booklet. If you really want to keep the copy that you've got, then I can give you another copy to put in there. But again, for the time being, there's nothing to do on that page. Apart from just make sure you know your timetable. Study it now. Pause the video and study it. Go and get it and study it. Or make a note to yourself that on your to-do list, however it is that you like to do that yourself, that you need to study your timetable and really take it in there. So next page then, page 5. What does the college expect of me? And this is split into 4 sections. Your work, other students on your course, your tutors and yourself. And the same kind of concepts come up for each of these. A lot of it is to do with respect and things like that. And on this page and some of the pages that follow this one, it's not really about copying answers down exactly from slides and just putting down what you're told here. I'd like you to have a think about really what your responsibilities are to your work, other students on your course, your tutors and yourself. And with the slides I'm going to show you here, and with your own thoughts as well, fill these boxes in with what you think. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to put in each box. Really, from here on in, it needs to be very much your own thoughts on this. So in terms of your work, stop now and think about what you think the college expects of you, and then come back to the slide and we'll go through a few of the answers you might have thought of, and then you can actually think about what you're going to put in that box. Okay, so hopefully you've thought about what your responsibilities are in terms of your work there. Here are a few ideas for you to think about. Concentrating, making your work legible, working on your literacy. That's something that will be a big feature right through the whole year. Meeting deadlines, very important. Not copying others' work. And basically always give 100%. You're not actually in class all that often in terms of hours in the week. So while you're in class, there's absolutely no excuse for not giving 100%. So have a think about your own ideas that you had before I showed you those choices there. And bearing in mind the slide there, come up with something for your work box. And write that down now. Now, similarly for other students on the course, have a think about this yourself. Consider these suggestions that I'm giving you as well. Again, there's respect comes up in a lot of these. Treat others as you would like to be treated yourself. Help other students. Don't distract other students. Responsibilities to your tutors are actually quite similar, really. Again, it's respect and politeness. Attend your lectures and be on time. And there's that, treat others as you would like to be treated yourself again. Be attentive, listen in class, pay attention, follow instructions. Again, that's that on the previous slide about giving 100%. And ask for help when you need it as well. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's better to ask for help and maybe feel a little bit embarrassed for a couple of minutes than not ask for help and feel embarrassed for a lot longer further down the line. So fill in the Your Tutors box there on page 5 and come back to the video. This next slide is about responsibilities to yourself. And again, a lot of these are the same kind of thing. Respect yourself. Do the best you possibly can. Always give 100%. Believe that you can do it. Be punctual. Don't be late for lectures. Concentrate at all times. Look after yourself. That'll be important this year. Stay fit and healthy, mentally and physically. Get plenty of sleep. Get some exercise. Eat well to keep you mentally and physically the best you possibly can. Take this opportunity. It won't last long. It'll be very quick this year. Take this opportunity. Grasp it. Don't let it disappear and pass you by. Allow yourself to learn. So check page 5 there that you've got something good in each box, and we'll move on to the next page, which is all about looking to the future. How do you want to progress? This year's going to go very quickly, and it's never too soon to start thinking about what you're going to do next year, next September. With this page, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shut up for a couple of minutes and just run you through the slides, one slide for each box. And they'll contain answers we've had in previous years from people. Not necessarily good answers, not necessarily answers that will suit you. But have a think about your own ideas for what to put in each box here. About moving on to a higher course, getting a job, etc., changing direction. Have a look at the suggestions on the screen and come up with your own answers for those boxes as I run through the slides. And again, I'm not going to keep each slide on the screen for very long. You can always pause if you need to. So you should now have filled in every box on page 6, and we're now at the top of page 7, which is entitled, Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? So bearing in mind everything you've said on page 5, which is all about, on page 6, which is all about higher courses that you could go on to, or jobs, changes of direction, starting your own business, etc. Have a go at filling in this box. No suggestions for this one, really, as such, because this is your own choice about where you see yourself in 5 years' time. So the only thing you should make sure of is try and fill in as much of that box as you can. Don't just put don't know or something like that. Just have a good think about it and think where you see yourself in 5 years' time. And finally, for this section all about thinking about the future, just fill in the I intend to box on page 7 there, as a summary of what you've decided, whether it's move on to a higher level course, get employment, etc. You can tick more than one thing in there if more than one thing is applicable. Okay, I'm moving on to page 8 now, which is called My Strengths and Weaknesses. Now this is a table, as you can see if you've got the book open in front of you there, with 3 columns. The first is a skill or quality, and there's a list of various skills or qualities down there, starting with good timekeeping, always swearing, etc. Then the second column and third column are blank for you to fill in. The second column is it a strength or a weakness? Now in that column, you write down whether you think this is a strength or weakness in general. For example, I think good timekeeping, I think most people would agree that in general, for everybody, that is a strength. Whether you've got it or not is not what the second column is all about, is whether you think it's a strength or weakness. I would say always swearing is a weakness. etc. So fill in the second column there with whether you think the skill or quality in the first column is generally a strength or a weakness for people. The second column then is not in general but about you yourself. Right, yes if you think that skill or quality is a strength or weakness of yours, or no if it isn't. For example, if you've put, for good timekeeping and you've put strength there, if you think you've got good timekeeping and you put yes in the final column, if you're not always swearing, you'll have on the second row you'll have always swearing as a weakness, but then no in the final column, and so on down the rest of that. Just saying whether you think the skill or quality is generally a strength or weakness, and then whether it's a strength or weakness of yours. Now, page 9 is what we call a SWOT analysis. And this is done a lot by businesses and by individuals as well. And it's a good way of identifying what you do well, what you don't do so well, what you need to work on, what are the things that are coming up that will help you to do that, and what's going to get in the way. And the SWOT in SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, strengths is things you're good at. Weaknesses, things you're currently not good at. You should have a fair idea of what those are at the moment. And you can also have a look at the table on page 8 to help you with those. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? So have a go at filling in the boxes on page 9 there, and come back to the video or stick with the video. Opportunities are things that are coming up. They may be events or particular units that you're looking forward to that allow you to work on your strengths and make them even better, and also identify and work on your weaknesses, things coming up in the future. And threats, you need to list the things that you think are going to get in the way. So have a go there at page 9, and again try and fill the boxes in, not by writing massive letters but by writing some good content in there, and then come back to the video or stick with the video and we'll do the final page of this induction booklet. And the final page is page 10, which is target setting. We all set targets on a daily basis, but this is about setting targets, the beginning of a target setting process that will actually go on through the whole year. And later we'll actually transfer these to your learning plan online. So this is best done on rough paper to begin with, and then transfer them to here. And think about a target, for example, they don't have to be academic targets, it could be pass driving test or make new friends. But make the target quite specific is very important. Don't say do better or do well or pass the course even isn't a great one actually, because that's kind of expected of everybody. So be a bit more specific than that. Put that in the target column. By when? It could be what we call a short-term target, which is in the next few weeks or days, and then medium-term, which is in the next few months, and then long-term would be more in terms of the year, maybe a year ahead of time. And if you can, try and do 3 targets which have different by when dates. So maybe one that you want to do in the next couple of weeks, one in the next couple of months, and maybe one that'll take a year or so. And then the what problems might I have column, that's threats from the SWOT analysis, isn't it? What do you think might get in the way of that? It's always good to identify things that are going to get in the way so you're ready for them when they happen. Then the final column, and the final thing in the booklet, is what help might I need? That could be friends, it could be other students, it could be mentors, it could be counsellors, it could be your subject tutors or your course tutor. So take some time on that and then come back to the video. Or you can stick with the video now. And that is the end of this video, all about how to complete the course induction booklet from Coleg Ceredigion here. So I hope that's been useful to you and you've now finished your course induction booklet. Once you have finished it, give it back to me for marking, and I look forward to receiving your induction booklet and seeing you in the next video.